I'm Judi Vitale from ReadTheStars.com. I'd like to talk about Jupiter in Gemini. As of June 11th, 2012, Jupiter will be in Gemini. This isn't a huge deal, although it's pretty big. It's a once-a-year occurrence when Jupiter makes its way from one sign to the other. So once every 12 years, Jupiter is in each sign. So the last time that Jupiter was in Gemini was, let's see, June 30th, 2000. Okay, and that lasted all the way to July 13th, 2001. So, if you can think back to that time and what you were doing and how life was for you, that might give you some idea as to what Jupiter in Gemini might bring. The time before that was March 11th, 1989 to July 30th, 1989, but it started also July 22nd, 1988. It went back into Taurus and then went into Gemini again. So this time it's just going to stay right in Gemini. Any retrograde that occurs is going to occur in the sign of Gemini. So if you've liked what's been going on with the emphasis in Gemini, as we have seen in the last few weeks with Venus retrograde there, Mercury finally is out, but it was there for a while, and the Sun, then you're going to love Jupiter in Gemini. For some of us, it's just an increase in activity, and it will be an increase in activity in whatever area of your chart it affects. I will write for the daily horoscope for Monday, June 11th, and include that in an article on ReadTheStars.com to tell you what you might expect from that, okay? So, this is a big deal. What kinds of things does Jupiter involve? Jupiter involves our sense of optimism and our sense of feeling lucky. So if you are a Gemini, or if you have signs such as Libra or Aquarius in your chart, you might feel an ease right now. If you have signs such as Pisces and Virgo and Sagittarius in your chart, these are the squares and the oppositions to Gemini, then you're going to feel like a sense of urgency and a lot of opportunities and a sense of being, in a way, overwhelmed. So keep that in mind, when you're presented with different opportunities over the course of the next year. For those of you who are severely affected, how can you be severely affected by Jupiter? Well, there are some ways, actually. You can be overwhelmed in the way I just described, and you can also just want so much of everything that you overindulge. It's quite common for people while they're undergoing a Jupiter transit to overfeed themselves. So it is possible that you could gain weight. So be very careful. Even if you don't overfeed, sometimes it's just hard to lose a little bit of weight. You know, that thing where like you've overeaten on the weekend and so you want to try to lose weight throughout the week. It doesn't come over or off as fast as it does at other times because Jupiter makes us want to retain our weight. People who have Jupiter prominently in their chart are big people, and they also have a lot of largesse. So Jupiter does rule things such as generosity. Generosity, while it is in Gemini, is more likely to come in the form of talk and thought. I think during the time of Jupiter in Taurus, the one thing that I noticed was the largesse in terms of money. Everybody was giving to charity, and charity is a wonderful thing. It's a way that we can give to those who are less fortunate than we are. It is a way that we can make sure that everybody is taken care of without necessarily interfering in their lives, but for those who ask for help, to be able to give it to them. And I think that, charity almost became, if you would, trendy during the last year. Everybody was always talking about benefits. You'd go into almost any store and you would hear, would you like to donate to such and such? And this is all wonderful. And let's hope that this Jupiter in Taurus leaves a legacy and allows us to continue that kind of activity. But by and large, the next thrust for the trend is going to be this largesse in words. And it also can be negative in the sense that it can be a lot of BS, if you would. People who will be handing us a lot of lines and telling us this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And, it just might not turn out that way. So with the election coming up in November, I think this is especially interesting. And, we'll see. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the election as we get closer. Right now, I'm just trying to stay away from politics because it makes my brain hurt. So My brain hurts enough thinking about the rest of everything that's going on. In terms of its interaction with outer planets, Jupiter will make a square to Neptune right after Uranus and Pluto square off. So it's the 25th of June that Jupiter and Neptune make a square, because Jupiter, if you'll remember, is right at the very beginning of the sign Pisces. It just moved into Pisces. And so these two energies are going to magnify one another and also fight against one another. So you have like complete fantasy in the realm of Neptune and like the spiritual life, and Jupiter and Gemini in, talking about it. It does tend like for people to rationalize their points of view regarding their philosophy, religion, their thinking, their sense of justice, and that sort of thing. So keep that in mind as you go through this time period as well. Jupiter will remain in Gemini all the way until June 26th of next year when it goes into Cancer. So you'll have that to know about too. And the other thing I want to say is that a lot of people think, oh, we're going to have a Jupiter transit. Well, especially when Jupiter is in Gemini, it might not be as lucky as you think it would be, because Jupiter is not in a happy place when it is in Gemini, because it's opposite to one of the signs that it rules, which is Sagittarius. So because it's opposite there, I said it's pinnacle in Sagittarius, all is hope and wonder and great things and great thought and knowledge and travel and all the great things that Jupiter can bring. But while it is in its opposite sign, it's sort of uneasy. Jupiter makes us more pensive and worried than it does expansive and curious. So with that awareness, I'd like you to go forward in your activities with knowing how this can affect you, and also celebrating the way that Jupiter brings new life, maybe into some new ideas. Some great books might come out, some fantastic, some great music even. Gemini can have a lot to do with music. It would be nice to see some fresh, original ideas out there in the ether. So that's my take on Jupiter in Gemini for now. I may be talking about it later as time goes on. But if you have any other questions or comments, you can leave them with the video or contact me at Judi, Judi, at readthestars.com, or get a personal video reading for yourself. Go to my website, readthestars.com, click on personal video readings, and you can make the arrangements, and we can have a 5 to 7 minute video, $19.95, just me and you, okay? I hope that everything goes well for you.